10:30, 5 unmarked sedans and a BCI, or I should say Suburbans, not sedans, big cars came by, and a BCI truck also came by and started going into the house. Now we're going to send it over to Mandan, where
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Tim Helbling. I'm the mayor of Mandan. The city of Mandan expresses our deepest condolences to the families of Robert Falker, Lois Cobb, William Cobb, and Adam Furr, and to the RJR Maintenance and Management owners, employees, and customers. Our thoughts and our prayers are with each and every one of you during this difficult time. We'd like to thank the emergency responders, including the Mandan Fire Department and the Mandan Police Department. I'd especially like to thank Deputy Chief Flayton, Chief Ziegler. Chief Ziegler is not only a great chief, but I consider him a super chief, one of the best chiefs there is. And one of the reasons I say that is he knows the strengths and weaknesses of his department. He's not afraid to reach out when he knows he needs help, needs a hand. And the interesting part about this case is, for the most part, the city of Mandan or the police department didn't have to reach out to any of these other agencies looking for help. It was volunteered. And that's an amazing part of what we have right here in North Dakota and our community of Mandan and Bismarck. It's been a difficult week for everyone involved, and we want to especially thank the public and the business community in Mandan and also the surrounding areas by providing valuable information to the police department. We'd also like to thank everyone for their support and their trust of our local law enforcement as they work tirelessly on this case. We live in a great community, and when adversity strikes, we all come together, and that is shown by the support that we have seen in this community all week. Please keep your thoughts and prayers with the victims and their loved ones during this difficult time. Be respectful. When you're on social media, remember there's always a human factor, whether you like to think about it or not. Our police, our fire department, our first responders, they all have feelings. Their families, the victims. Please be respectful. We'd like to thank everyone for everything that you've done. We'd like to thank the media. You've played an important role in hopefully solving this case. And with that, I'd like to introduce Chief Ziegler.
Thank you very much, and thanks for being here tonight. After I'm done with this statement, I'm going to open it up for 5 minutes of questions to be fair to you guys, so you guys can ask some questions. Just keep in mind also this is still an active investigation, so some of those questions might not be able to be answered. So just keep that in mind. On April 4th, 2019 at approximately 7:46 p.m., Mandan Police Department arrested Chad Isaac, 44, of Washburn on 4 counts of AA felony murder. On Monday, April 1st, 2019 at 7:29 a.m., Mandan Police responded to a medical call at RJR Maintenance and Management. Once on scene, officers found 4 individuals deceased. The victims had suffered stab wounds and or gunshot wounds. Many hours of video surveillance were reviewed by investigators, and a suspect's vehicle was identified. Further investigation led to McLean County Sheriff's Office locating the vehicle in Washburn. McLean County deputies conducted a traffic stop on the suspect vehicle and detained Isaac while a search warrant was executed on the vehicle. Evidence discovered on Isaac and in the vehicle provided probable cause to place Isaac under arrest for the murders. Even though an arrest has been made, the investigation is still going on. Investigators will continue to process evidence and gather information. At the present time, a motive for the crime is unknown. Mandan Police Department would like to extend our gratitude to our citizens of Mandan for their patience and trust in us. We would like to thank the extended community for providing the videos, the leads, the tips, and the offer for help. A special thanks to local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies that have offered their assistance to this entire investigation. At this time, please continue to keep the families and co-workers of the victims in your thoughts. We will continue to support the employees of RJR in their time of need. And that is my statement. I will open it now for questions and also be respectful to give people some time to ask other questions. So yes, sir, I'll go with you first.
Can you say what Mr. Isaac's connection to RJR was? Was he a renter?
It's still under investigation. I don't have that specific. That goes under the motive is really unknown right now. It was already broken that the trailer park was managed by RJR, but we don't know the connection with Mr. Isaac.
The trailer park where he lived?
That's correct. That was already in the news. You guys already broke that earlier.
Are you looking for any other suspects in connection to this case?
Currently, right now, no, we are not.
At what point did you realize the vehicle or get a tip about the vehicle being in connection?
As I stated in my statement here, we went through a lot of video and on the surveillance video and tracking everything. We got pictures of the vehicle and were able to track it to where we found it in Washburn.
Do you know when that tip came in or when you guys started following?
It was a bunch of, that was early on Monday, once we started pulling the videos and we started getting leads to that.
Time and date of death, Chief Ziegler?
That's going to be in the ME report, and we have not received the ME report, and that's also protected for 8 days after the autopsy, so that will be released when we can release it.
You recovered a weapon or weapons?
That's part of the investigation, sir. We're not at liberty right now to talk about the recovering of the weapons.
To clarify really quick, can you go over those charges again? Is it murder?
It is murder.
Okay.
It is 4 counts of AA murder.
How did the tips from the public help you guys out in this investigation and lead to this arrest?
It was actually very helpful. The citizens were giving us some very good leads to follow up. We did not look at any lead and say this isn't valuable. And we appreciate everything that everybody put in and gave to us. The citizens have been just unbelievable, and they've been very supportive, and we thank them for that. Go ahead, sir.
Do you believe Mr. Isaac targeted all 4 victims, or did he maybe target 1 and the other 3 just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time?
That's part of the investigation. We're still going on looking at different things.
You mentioned that motive is unknown right now. Do we know if this was a crime of passion?
That again, it's still, when I say motive unknown, the motive is unknown. We're still looking in that and investigating that at this time.
There was heavy police presence in Washburn last night. Did that have anything to do with this?
That was a complete separate incident with that semi-truck. That was not our investigation.
Can you talk about, BCI was on location yesterday at least in one different area other than the RJR building. Can you talk about some of the other locations or looking through other locations here in Mandan?
We were following up leads, and when we had good leads and we had stuff that we wanted to look into, and whenever you get those and you're following those leads up, you want to make sure we are doing our due diligence to make sure that all evidence that was out there was collected, and they were out there collecting evidence.
Do we know anything else about the suspect at this point?
Currently at this time, I'm not going to release any more information than the suspect's name and that he's been arrested and what his charges are.
Are we expecting him to be in front of a court, in front of a judge soon, tomorrow maybe, or next week?
That's the protocol. I'm not sure what the judge's schedules are going to be and how that's going to go. That's going to be something they're going to have to figure out through the court process.
Was he arrested without incident, and did he give any statements to police?
He was arrested without incident, and as far as the statements, that's part of the investigation right now, so we're not going to make comments on that.
Where is he being held currently?
He's currently being held at McLean County Jail.
Will his initial court appearance be here in Mandan?
That I don't know. I'm not aware of where the court appearance is going to be. That's going to be set up through the court process.
You talk about this still being an active investigation, obviously. What are the next steps for you guys in this investigation?
Putting everything together, and so we can get prosecution on this and bring Mr. Isaac to justice. I'm going to let you guys have one more question, and this is going to be done. Go ahead, Renee.
Are you closing the 24-hour tip line at this point?
We have had that discussion. I will go back and take advisement from my staff on that, and if we don't close it down tonight, it will probably be shortly closed down. So I want to take advisement and see, because some community members might still have information out there that helps us with our prosecution of this case. So just because we've got them doesn't mean this case, this is far from over. It comes the long process of prosecution. You want one more question, Danny? I'll give you one more.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So let's talk just about how quick the quick response by law enforcement. It's been a little bit over 72 hours, and you guys already have a suspect in custody and charged with 4 counts of murder. I mean, what does it say about our law enforcement and just kind of the response time and how quickly detectives did work in order to have somebody in custody?
Thanks, Danny. This was a complete team effort. We couldn't have done this without the support from all those agencies that came in. It was really humbling to see people reach out. The phone calls I got from chiefs and sheriffs and federal people and everybody just wanting to help us to assist to get this guy. And so as a team, when they came in here, they didn't try to take over. They asked us how could they help. And they did what we asked them to do. Our detectives led this entire investigation, and I'm very proud of each and every one of them. They did awesome. I can't, I'm blessed to have the team around me that I do. And, I always say that it's not me, it's my people. We are good because they do the job that they were sworn to do. And I appreciate everything, every last bit of effort that everybody put in this case. I also appreciate you guys. I hope you guys understand where we're at with the investigations, and I hope I gave you the information you were looking for over the past several days. And it's just really a good thing how we all came together on this. So I appreciate asking that question, Danny. I appreciate it. So at that, I'm going to stop this interview, and thank you guys, and have a great night.
Thank you.
So it sounds like this really was a team effort between law enforcement agencies and the community. So we know right now that between surveillance footage and tips, they were able to take into custody Chad Isaac, who's 44 years old and lives in an RV park in Washburn that is managed by RJR. But the motive is still unknown. We're also still awaiting the ME's report so that we can know the actual cause of death. But stay with us. We will have continued coverage here and online. But right now, we're going to take a quick break. So we just heard from Mandan Police Chief Jason Ziegler about the arrest that was just been made in connection with the murders of the 4 people at RJR Maintenance and Management. So what we know so far is that it was a team effort between federal, state, and at the city and county level, all the law enforcement agencies and the community. So they were able to arrest 44-year-old Chad Isaac. Now he is arrested with charged with 4 counts of AA murder for the 4 people who were found dead at RJR on Monday. We know that they had stab wounds and gunshot wounds, but we don't know for sure their actual cause of death. We're still waiting on the ME's report. We do know that Chad was arrested in Washburn. So we are going to go to Max, who is in Washburn right now. Max, what's going on out there?
Anna, we can now confirm what neighbors have been telling us since a little bit earlier this afternoon, that it was 44-year-old Chad Isaac who was arrested in connection with these murders and will be charged with homicide. That is his house over my right shoulder, as I'll take a step out of the way to give you a look at the scene right now. There's still some police vehicles on scene, but we did see a few drive away. We saw about a dozen or more law enforcement officers come onto the scene just around 8:30 this evening and start going into the home and presumably start collecting evidence and taking it away. We can also say that the neighbors have told us that Isaac was a chiropractor in Washburn, so he was someone who was relatively known. His offices are down in downtown Washburn, and he ran a chiropractic office out of there for at least several years. So that's what we know in Washburn right now, but I will send it back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Max. Now, we're going to check in with Megan Hoffman, who is at the news conference tonight. So, Megan, what's happening there at Mandan City Hall?
Hey, Anna, everybody just left. The news conference just wrapped up, but we did receive quite a bit of information tonight. Police have arrested Chad Isaac, 44, of Washburn, on 4 counts of felony AA murder. That's what police told us tonight during this press conference. Isaac is accused of murdering the 4 people at RJR Maintenance and Management earlier this week. Now, again, it's Thursday. It's been about 3.5 days since the police responded to the initial call at 7:30 at RJR Maintenance and Management on Monday morning. Now, police tell us that McLean County deputies conducted a traffic stop this afternoon. That was about 3:30. We received that information from McLean County. They said they conducted it at about 3:30. They said they did not put anybody at risk, their deputies, the public, anything like that. It was conducted on a road, and they stopped the suspect vehicle. They detained Isaac while a search warrant was executed on the vehicle. Now, this press release also tells us that evidence was discovered on Isaac as well as in the vehicle, and that provided the probable cause to place Isaac under arrest for those murders. Now, another thing the police chief said tonight is that this investigation is still ongoing. There was still some stuff he could not release to us, including the time frame. He said that no weapons have been recovered. One thing that we did learn tonight, though, is that these people were stabbed and there were gunshot wounds as well, is what the police chief said during his press conference. But one big question everybody still has is the motive, and Police Chief Jason Ziegler said that there is still no motive known at this point. They are still working through all of that investigation as well. We also asked about court appearances, when he will be in front of a judge. That was unknown as well. So we will continue to get more information, provide you with all the information we know. Live in Mandan, I'm Megan Hoffman for your news leader.
Thanks so much, Megan. Well, while the community grieves, the first responders who arrived on scene are also dealing with what they saw. Chaplains from Mandan and Bismarck are available to the police department, paramedics, and the fire department. The Mandan Police Department chaplain says in his decades as a pastor in the area, he's never seen anything like this, and neither have they.
They're used to a certain level of the darkness of the world, and then something like this happens, and it is so much greater than you've experienced before.
Prentice says chaplains are there whenever the first responders need a safe place to talk about what happened and to help them heal. And a combined memorial service will be held for the 4 RJR Maintenance and Management employees found dead at the office on Monday. According to Eastgate Funeral Home, the service for Robert Faulkner, William and Lois Cobb, and Adam Fuhr will be held Tuesday, April 9th at 11 a.m. at Bismarck Community Church. Police have classified the case as a multiple homicide, but investigators haven't said how they died. Well, we learned a little bit more about that tonight, but we don't know the exact cause of death. We'll be right back after this. Shopping is a part of our daily lives, but here's a question for you. When you buy online, do you personally know the vendors you're purchasing from? I don't. But when I shop in one of our local stores, I stop and chat with the owner because I have a personal relationship with them. It's so much more satisfying to know that the money you're spending is helping an individual, a family, a community. Close your computers and open your doors. Get to know your local entrepreneurs and get to know your city. Buy North Dakota first. Kevin. Well, the House passed a bill allowing courts to terminate the parental rights of a convicted rapist if that act results in the birth of a child. The bill gained attention when a controversial amendment excluding spousal rape from termination was added, then taken off a few days later. Under this law, the courts would have discretion on termination.
The termination is not automatic, and that the court will weigh the 13 best interests of the child factors that it uses in making other determinations for custody and termination of parental rights.
The bill now goes to the governor. Well, the House passed a package of bills to get the state workers' retirement system back on the right track. The House passed 2 Senate bills reducing benefits for people hired after January 1st, 2020. This brings the plan from eventual bankruptcy to full funding, though it will take a few decades.
In benefits is for new employees hired after January 1st, 2020. The reality of an underfunded retirement fund cannot be ignored.
A third bill to increase what employers and employees contribute to the fund is now a study. A House bill to use North Dakota's oil tax savings account earnings to help offset income taxes was overwhelmingly rejected in the Senate, but the House isn't giving up. Today, a House committee voted to insert a proposal into the tax department's budget. Primary sponsor Representative Craig Headland saying legacy fund earnings could likely eliminate income tax over the next decade. Senators saying it will likely meet the same fate. This could set up an inter-party fight with just 20 days left in the session. Have a good night.